Good morning, I'm Maiki Oreta and you're watching Business 360, where we break down the numbers, connect the dots, and give you the developments and the insights you need to navigate, adapt, and lead. Let's dive right in. China accuses the U.S. of stealing $13 billion in Bitcoin, calling the 2020 hack a state-level operation. The BBC admits to splicing Donald Trump's January 6th speech. Chair Samir Shah apologizes for that editorial error. And here at home, the BIR warns it may miss its $3.2 trillion tax target as slow government spending drags collections. First, let's take a look at how global financial markets performed overnight. Wall Street ended mixed as investors weighed progress toward ending the longest U.S. government shutdown. Nvidia and other AI stocks slipped amid fresh concerns over stretched valuations. Members of the U.S. House returned to Washington after a 53-day break, set to vote on a bill that could formally end the shutdown. The Polymarket betting platform now fully prices in a resolution within the week.
The fact that SoftBank sold its entire holdings of Nvidia, CoreWeave's revenue forecast was a bit light. And so I think investors are waiting for the government to reopen. We should then get a slew of back data. And if that happens to confirm the direction of the market, we could get the additional feeling that the Fed will be cutting rates in December, and that could then trigger a year-end rally.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average ended higher by 1.2%, the S&P 500 higher by 0.2%, and the Nasdaq lower by 0.25%. Over in Europe, markets ended higher. London's FTSE up by 1.2%, Germany's DAX up by 0.5%, and France's CAC 40 up by 1.3%. A new flashpoint in the tech rivalry between Washington and Beijing. China is accusing the United States of stealing $13 billion in Bitcoin. The claim traces to a 2020 heist from the Libyan mining pool. Beijing calls it a state-level operation, a classic black eats black case, linking the tokens to assets seized by the United States. Washington denies the charge, saying that the Bitcoin is tied to Cambodian tycoon Chen Zi. The Justice Department has recovered more than 127,000 Bitcoin, its largest digital asset seizure ever. On another front, the BBC is facing a storm over editorial bias. Chairperson Samir Shah admits to lapses in judgment after the network was found to have spliced parts of a Donald Trump speech from 2021. The revelation came as British Culture Minister Lisa Nandy briefed Parliament on Tuesday. The BBC apologized for a documentary that merged two segments of Trump's January 6th speech, the day his supporters stormed the Capitol, creating the impression that he was calling for violence.
The House will know that yesterday the chair of the BBC, Samir Shah, wrote to the Culture, Media and Sports Select Committee. He accepted there had been editorial failings and committed to a number of steps in response. Dr. Shah believes that our national broadcaster, which remains one of the most trusted sources of news in our country, has a responsibility to uphold the highest standards. I agree.
The network's Director General, Tim Davie, and Head of News, Deborah Turnus, have resigned amid accusations of bias. Trump's lawyers are demanding a full retraction, or they'll pursue a billion-dollar lawsuit. The controversy reverberates across global media and business at a time when trust, transparency, and information integrity shape investor confidence and public sentiment worldwide, including emerging markets like the Philippines. Lawmakers in Washington are moving to end the longest government shutdown in U.S. history, but the bill is drawing fire for allegedly benefiting several Republican senators. 8 Republicans would be allowed to sue the Justice Department and claim up to $500,000 each after their phone records were obtained in the January 6th investigation. Republicans argue the measure defends their rights, while Democrats condemn it as self-serving and a misuse of taxpayer funds. The bill reopens the government, but also opens a new political battle over accountability and privilege. a debate closely watched by global markets that price in U.S. stability and policy continuity. Here at home, the Bureau of Internal Revenue is facing an uphill climb to meet its $3.2 trillion collection target this year, as slow government spending and weak economic activity erode tax momentum. The BIR collected $2.32 trillion in the first three quarters, up 11% year-on-year, but still 2.6% short of target, leaving $897 billion needed to hit the full-year goal. Excise tax collections from vape and tobacco products improved, but remain off target by more than 1%. BIR Commissioner June Lumagi admits it is quite difficult to meet that target, citing the impact of the flood control scandal and calling for a review of the agency's full-year goal. The shortfall threatens the government's fiscal consolidation plan, with lower revenues limiting spending room, just as confidence and growth need rebuilding. The economy grew 4% in the third quarter, the slowest since 2021, as public works stalled and confidence was shaken by corruption probes and political noise. Investors now face a market that looks cheap on paper but feels risky in reality. The question is the Philippines a bargain that reprices when governance improves, or a value trap if confidence doesn't return? Joining us now is Stephen Kuunhing, a veteran investment banker and an independent director of the Maharlika Investment Corporation, as we talk about how policy, politics, and perception are reshaping market confidence and capital flows. Hi, Stevie. Good morning, and thank you for being here with us.
And thank you for inviting me for the first time on your show.
Yeah, and this definitely won't be the last, Stevie. You're a veteran investment banker. You've seen all sorts of economic cycles, from boom to bust. Q3 GDP came in at a dismal 4%. What's your real read on the economy right now?
We are in the yellow light phase. What we don't know is will the light turn green or will the light turn red? Because we're at a very curious juncture. I mean, somebody my age, I'm 66, we've seen worst. Basically, 1983 to 86, where the economy actually shrunk, and we had a both political and economic crisis. Same thing in the aftermath of 1997, where regionally all the Southeast Asian economies shrunk. The opposite would be like 2005, when there was Hello Garci and everything, and we were able to pivot away from that and continue on the prior path. So we're at a stage right now where things are worrisome, issues are serious, but it is still within the government's control to basically address it comprehensively and substantially, or not. And therefore, whether we're a yellow light turning to green or a yellow light turning to red is frankly within their control.
Interesting analogy. We're in the yellow light zone. We could go red, we could go green. Stevie, what might tip that balance? The ball is in the court of the government. What can they do? What might make it turn red and what might make it turn green?
Okay, I think if you look at the situation we feel now, which is a legitimate crisis and very serious. Basically, you have to do two things. You have to look back and you have to look forward, and both substantially. And what do I mean by that? Look back means people who brought us to this situation have to be made accountable. Charges have to be filed, they have to face justice, etc., etc. And the people who face justice need to be major players, not just sort of fall guys, to be blunt. What is the going forward part? One of the lines that really irritates me when we have a crisis is everybody says, oh, heads must roll. And my attitude is, so what? If you replace that head with a similar situation, similar person, or a situation where the same abuses and temptations are there, what substantially will happen? So you have to also have fundamental changes in procedure, in process, so that people will realize, oh, we did learn something. So in that case, what does that mean? The way we procure bids, the way government projects are awarded, the way they are priced, and the way they are implemented and supervised, the people have to feel, okay, what happened prior is not going to happen anymore. So that's why I said you have to look back and you have to look forward. You can't just throw a tantrum and feel good.
That's right. We can't just throw a tantrum and feel good. We've heard it so many times that heads will roll, but we need to see action beyond that. What's the risk if the government doesn't step up? And are you optimistic that this time around we will see actual heads at the top roll?
I hope so, because, crises do have a way of focusing the mind on what is essential rather than what is frankly tangential or for show. And again, I do want to put context. This is very serious and needs to be addressed because the amounts, frankly, I think what surprised people is we're a sort of, I think most of the people in this here are not naive. In fact, one could almost say we're almost resigned to the situation. But I think what shocked people was the level and the depth of what's going on. So basically that means it needs to be addressed. Now, it's really up to the government. They seem to be doing things that are, okay, let me say one thing very positive about the government. They're aware. They're not basically just like in denial and saying, oh, this will blow over, it's nothing. No, they're aware this is a problem. They're aware this is a situation. If they weren't, the speaker would not have resigned and the independent commission would not have been formed. So at least I give them credit for awareness of the gravity. Now, what we shall see going forward is how it is addressed. As I said, the going back, which is the making people who did that accountable, and the going forward that it doesn't get repeated.
Yeah. We are the ball is in the court of the government, firmly in their court, and everybody's just waiting to see what they're going to do, hoping it comes sooner.
That's why I say it's a yellow light. The most important, I think, thing for the government, for the policymakers to understand, it is still within their control. Like, for example, 1997, our economy crashed because of the devaluation across the region. They had to react. It was not something they could control. It went from green to red very quickly. And you have no choice but deal with it. Same thing with 83 to 86. It was red. You had to deal with it. This is still yellow. And it is not a regional thing. It is a within country thing.
Yeah.
So it is within their control.
Yes, Philippine specific. We're tight on time, but I wanted to ask you for your read on the market. We're at a 5-year low. We're at 5,600 on the PSE index. Right now, would you say that the macro story is trumping, overpowering company fundamentals?
Yes. I mean, people like my former client, Sid Kunsungi, have publicly complained about their delivering earnings growth every year, and the share price keeps dropping. So obviously the market is saying we are ignoring your good results because we're worried about the country and the macro conditions. And other companies which are delivering on their earnings, the big banks have all showed increases in their earnings, and they're down 20-30% just this 52 weeks. They're trading at 52-week lows. And more important than trading at peso lows, they are trading at multi-year valuation lows. For example, BPI and BDO kind of trade close to 2 times book in normal times, okay? Not so good times, they trade maybe 1.5 book. That's how you value banks. BPI is trading about 1.17, 1.15 book. BDO is trading at 1.1, 1.12 book. These are almost decade-long lows. And they're still paying good dividends, and they're still delivering earnings. So, yeah, it is very cheap.
Okay. Well, Stevie, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for now. Thank you for giving us your real read on the economy. We're going to have you back soon to talk about things on the Maharlika front as well. So thank you, veteran investment banker Stevie Kunhing.
Thank you for inviting me.
We're taking a quick break. Please stay with us as we dive deep into the numbers and the narratives that matter most to your bottom line. We have this just in. Katrina Ponce Enrile says that her father, former Senate President and Chief Presidential Legal Counsel Juan Ponce Enrile, remains in the ICU with pneumonia. In an official statement posted just this morning, she says that Enrile is receiving care from his doctors and medical team. The family also expresses gratitude for the public's concern, prayers, and support during this time. Now, shifting to other news, let's see how Asian markets are doing this morning. Right now, the Nikkei 225 is in the green, higher by 0.2%. Hong Kong's Hang Seng Index up as well, up by 0.8%. Shanghai's Composite in the green, up by 0.2%. And Singapore's Straits Times Index in the green, slightly flat with an upward bias. Now, here at home, investor confidence continued to erode yesterday as the market reacted to weak economic data and the government's corruption scandal. The PSE index fell 1.3% to close at its lowest finish in 5 years. This as spending cuts and softer household demand weighed on investor sentiment. Now, the broader market also declined, with financials and property leading the losses, while only the services sector managed to end in the green. Trading activity picked up, but the overall tone remained cautious. Analysts say investors continue to price in weaker growth after the economy slowed to just 4% in the third quarter, its lowest since 2021. The drop in public spending, blamed on suspended infrastructure projects linked to the flood control controversy, has deepened concerns about policy credibility. Strategists warn that the market could test pandemic-era levels unless investor confidence improves. The broader message, governance, not just valuation, now determines where capital flows and whether the market can regain its footing. Taking a look at the main gauge this morning, as of 10:23, the PSE index is in the green. We're seeing cautious optimism across the board. The main gauge is up by 1.23% to 56.98, very close to the 5700 level. Based on market breadth, we may go back to that 5700 level within the day as trading continues. Right now, the all shares index is up by 0.75% to 34.92. Taking a look at these sub indices, all are showing strength right now, especially the financials counter up by 2.4%, industrial counter up by 1.2%, and the services counter up by 1.2% as well. 481 million shares are trading hands, valued at just over $1 billion pesos. Again, market breadth is positive, with 82 advancers, 45 decliners, and 44 stocks unchanged. On the currency front, the peso opened at 58.95 against the dollar, slightly stronger than its previous close of 58.99. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas is pushing to modernize the country's payment system, set to launch a 24/7 real-time platform in 2026 to enable instant transactions, cross-border payments, and stronger digital financial inclusion. The Philippine Payment and Settlement System Plus, or PhilPass Plus, currently runs weekdays from 9 a.m. to 5:45 p.m. BSP Deputy Governor Mamerto Tangonan confirms it will shift to round-the-clock operations next year. The new system will enable instant settlements, support trade and investment, promote financial access beyond banking hours, and help businesses manage cash flows and potentially lift consumer spending. Experts say digital payment connectivity is a crucial driver of economic growth, but they warn that cybersecurity risks are rising and require stronger real-time monitoring and safeguards. PhilPass Plus transactions jumped 21% in the third quarter, reflecting the economy's rapid shift toward digital finance. Ultra-Bilyonaryo Manny Pangilinan is weighing a possible sale of Metro Pacific's stake in Light Rail Manila Corporation, the private operator of LRT Line 1. Pangilinan says that the company continues to lose money on the LRT-1 despite ridership having recovered from the pandemic. Metro Pacific holds a 35% stake in the consortium alongside Ayala Corporation's AC Infra, Sumitomo Corporation, and Macquarie Investments Holdings. He confirms that the possible sale was discussed in a recent meeting, but says no final decision has been made.
We continue to lose money on LRT1, and I think we're considering selling it, actually, getting out of the light rail. We just talked about it yesterday. People are complaining that losing money, why do we need this, and so forth and so on.
LRMC reported nearly 400,000 daily passengers in the first half of 2025, following the partial opening of the LRT1 Cavite extension last year. The potential divestment marks a shift in Metro Pacific's transport strategy as the group reevaluates capital allocation amid rising costs and regulatory uncertainty. Philippine National Bank, or PNB, is raising at least 7 billion pesos through a dual tranche sustainability bond offering to fund green and social development projects. The 3- and 5-year fixed-rate bonds are PNB's first under its 50 billion bond and commercial paper program. Proceeds will finance or refinance eligible projects in line with the bank's sustainable growth strategy. The public offer runs from November 26 to December 2, with issuance and listing set for December 11. PNB Capital, ING, and Standard Chartered serve as joint lead arrangers. The offering underscores the growing role of ESG financing as local banks tap capital markets to fund climate action and community resilience projects. DM Wenceslao and Associates, a property developer and master planner behind the Asiana City, posts a net income of 1.4 billion for the first 9 months of 2025, driven by stable leasing operations and a strong recovery in residential sales. Recurring leasing revenues rose 2.5 billion, accounting for 86% of total revenues, reflecting the company's solid base of land, commercial, and office leases. Commercial and ancillary rentals grew 5% year-on-year to 1.5 billion, supported by high occupancy and steady demand for prime office spaces in Asiana City. The results show resilience in real estate fundamentals, even as the industry faces slower growth and tighter capital conditions. And that's it for Business 360. I'm Maiki Oreta. Thank you for joining us, and keep it here on BNC, the Bilyonaryo news channel.